Hey, hi, how are you? Here we are. So, Friday, and yes, the weekend is ready. It's just behind the doors. How are you? At the moment we are five, but let's wait a few minutes so that we will have a little bit more people coming. Sorry, sir, but I'll have to leave now. We'll be watching your video later. Bye. Okay, ciao, Ayush. See you later. No problem. So, how was your week? Has been for me has been a week important because starting to go back to the office more often. I guess the real normal life is coming back. It's gonna come back quite soon, actually, which is good. And there is someone else saying ciao. Merda, ciao. How are you, Mahmoudi? So I was saying, after a week going a little bit outside, going to the office and few suppliers and stuff, it's nice. It's nice that now we're gonna have our weekend. Well, to be honest, later after this live, I will be with my online course. I have one new entrance, so there is a new guy. It's Vedant. And I'm quite satisfied that to have him here because with me because he's the youngest one I ever had in my life, 14 years old, pretty talented. So it will be very nice to help him out to improve and to get the right steps and the basics of drawing so that he can draw better, improve, and get ready one day soon to go to a design school. So today we're gonna have basically an open topics discussion, okay, or design talk. The first subject, so that's why I said car design insight questions and answers. I just want to make a very brief introduction about again the question about the money, because there are some people still writing to me, how much money do you make? Can we make good enough money to earn our life if we get a job in car design or in designing and stuff like that? So of course my answer is always the same. Design is about passion, and car design even more. But because a lot of people are still having this type of worries in their head, I give you again an answer, okay, an information that might be very important for you in order to make some choices. Ciao, Luca. And the question is very simple. The thing is very simple. Car design, a designer job, once you get out of the design school, once you get out from a design university, it's the same level of a young engineer or architect coming from their universities, from engineering or architects, okay? Ciao Pinga! Come stai? Long time. Wait, allora, tutto bene? Are you at the beach with a sunny day in South Italy somewhere? Okay, here it's rainy day. Today it's a little bit of rain actually, so it's a little bit not so. It's not cold, but it's not like South Italy or maybe like in India where there is a nice weather and it's nice warm or hot. Okay, so coming back to our topic, don't forget that we have to. Okay, good, bene, ottimo. So don't forget that if we are at the same level of a young engineer coming from engineering university, or an architect coming from architecture, or a lawyer coming from law school, then of course the basic salary, entrance salary, okay, the beginning of this working experience will be very similar, but very similar. And I wouldn't say that that's a bad one to start. There's another thing that I already told you, but I say it again, and I hope that who made the question, okay, can be there listening so that he gets the information. Ciao, Syed, so that he can understand and fix in his head the answer, okay. that car designers, or designers, but in general car designers, have a little extra on their contracts. Not every company, some companies. Some companies will recognize that a car designer has a little extra, which is the creativity and the artistic part of skills, creativity, that talent, about what I speak a lot. And that talent is paid a little bit more. Therefore, we can conclude, we can say that the starting salary of a car designer in a very good global company, it's going to be a little bit more than an engineer that starts his career as an engineer. Okay? So I really hope that with this, it is very clear to you. Luca, is it possible to merge design and art into one piece? Of course. One person that tried to do that, and I think on some cars and some parts, and it was very successful, it was Chris Bangle. Some of the concept cars that BMW made when he was the big boss there, they are a piece of art, and they are also designs, excellent designs. So yes, my answer is yes, you can do it, no problem. But to do that, of course, you must have an incredible talent, good vision, and be able to manage all that, so that what you will be making, creating, it's really something unique. All right. Okay, so I am here for you. Questions and answers. Please ask me. I am here to answer to your questions. Okay. I will be here until more or less 6 o'clock in the afternoon here, which means about 40 minutes. Okay, we're gonna be together about 40 minutes. All right. So if you have questions, if you have curiosity, if you want to know anything about me, about the work, how design process, I don't know, whatever you want. Okay, politics is very important. It is very important in car design. Ciao Waldo, welcome back. Hey, put your likes, huh? I see only 4. Put your likes. We need lots of likes on those videos. Okay? Thanks. Ciao Andrea. Sto bene, grazie. I am fine, thanks. What about you? Andrea from South Italy, from Puglia, if I remember right. I was saying that here it's a little bit not chilly, but the weather is not as good as in South Italy currently. Okay, so even if it's warm, but outside there is no sun, and it looks like tomorrow it's gonna rain a little bit. What kind of books do designers read? But Luca, I have lots of books there. Next time I should probably take my books and bring them here. But some of the books that I have here, you have H Point, the book about Syd Mead, which is an excellent book you should have, and then How to Draw from Scott Robertson, who is an incredible book, really incredible book. Then I have, of course, the Giugiaro book, Maestro, all his beautiful projects, fantastic design lessons, I would say. Andrew, come funziona lo stampo delle nuove forme particolari se il design immagina forme troppo complesse? That's a nice question. How do you think I can call my parents about car design? They think it's a risky passion. Mahmoudi, there is a video that I made here on YouTube. It's called This Message is for You Parents. Go and check that video, because that video I talk to parents, not to you students. Okay, so if you want, look at that video, and if you like it, you can show that video to your parents. I think it was done for that. I really hope it can be useful. Okay, do you think I can convince my... Okay, ciao Tolga. Luca, what do you think about Leonardo da Vinci and his work? Luca, I mean, what kind of question? Leonardo da Vinci is the master of the masters. It's I went to visit here in France the castle in which he lived the last years of his life. which is beautiful, and there are all his inventions and stuff. Beautiful stuff. I went with my boys. Google says that starting salary of a car design engineer is 57, while that of a software engineer is 60s are almost the same. Okay, yeah, I think that Syed, you got it right. Okay, Mahmoudi, so you got my message. Waldo, Luciano, I'm ending the degree in industrial design in Spain. Hola, perfecto. And I am doing a car as the last project. Wow, that's nice. And I like to know what have more future, the electric or the hydrogen. To be honest, there are two different technologies, and both of them can become complementary. But I would say that those two technologies are for different type of vehicles. For example, hydrogen, we cannot imagine a small car with hydrogen, not today. But electric, yes. But a big camion, a big truck done with hydrogen technology, or a big bus, or I don't know, a big van, you know, an LCV, yes. In that case, I would say yes. This is possible. And it's very good, it's very safe. It's very clean also. Very clean. Then coming back to the books, there are some books that talk about the history of brands, you know, car brands, like for example Renault, Citroën, Fiat, General Motors, Ford, Honda, Toyota, and they talk about the beginning of the experience and until a few years ago. And they talk about design. They don't tell you only about the industrial journey, you know, about the industry, the market, and how from a garage they became big car companies. But they talk to you, they tell you also about the design development according to the technologies that were available in each type of period, you know, of the brand life. How the evolution occurred, how you can see design changing, you know, and being always appropriate for that brand image. And that's something very interesting, especially when we grow like as a manager in design, to read those books. It makes us think also not just the creative thing, you know, the sketch, the good sketch, but also about strategies, you know, marketing strategies, brand strategies, design philosophy, and how to give value to a specific type of brand, starting from its logo. And you will see also the logo designed and redesigned during all those years, and you will see that every choice that has been made according to the brand image of that brand has been really, really well done, no crazy stuff. Every evolution, every step has been really well thought out until today. And those things are very very important to nurture our culture, because we don't have to be just good skilled designers and artists, but we must learn a little bit more about automobile history. And those books that you can find everywhere, those books are very, very good. There are also other books. Ciao Adele. There are also other books that I suggest you to buy about the design evolution of cars. You know, there are several that talk to this type of topic, and there you will see also how a design in the 50s, in the 60s, in the 70s was made according to the cultures, whether it was Japanese, European, or American. And then later on we got the Korean, and today we also have the Chinese, and I am sure that tomorrow we'll have the African car design. So those books are things that if I were you, a couple of those books. I would buy a couple to have in my private library. Then I have also a book, Supercars. You know, all supercars. I have a book on the Italian design of the 50s and of course, and the 60s. And of course, there are lots of Ferraris. Then I have another book about industrial design, in which there is an analysis of industrial design from America, from North Europe, from Italy, from Japan, you know, that especially for 30-40 years they were the strong countries, you know, areas of this world in which the good industrial design was made. Then there is, for example, in Italy there are some early industrial designers that are still today are very famous, like Joe Ponti, or architects that at that time there was no school about design, and in reality they were designers, and therefore and that's nice because you can see lots of photos of their sketches and how their sketches became furniture, what later on became called furniture design, which is which is a field that is studied in university, furniture design. Today we are having in Milano, in Italy, the furniture design show, the week, with also other type of design shows in the streets, which is very nice, very well organized by the city of Milano, and it's beautiful because there is a lots of furniture, industrial design, a little bit of car design, but mainly it's furniture design, textile design, material design, and industrial design. So there is of course the good industrial design from Italy, the beautiful lamps, you know, like this one, for example. All right, this is Artemide that you all know. Over there I have another one, which is also a very famous one. So things like that, and for you to go and search, for example, on Twitter or Instagram, people that are currently today at the furniture show in Milano, and they post pictures and short videos. It's very nice. I follow. It's very nice to go and check out the latest trends, also in terms of colors. It's LED technology, how the LED technology is getting into the house, you know, the robotica applied to home appliances, which is another thing that is really interesting because it changes the way we live our house, the way we have our, I don't know, our frigo, our the washing machine and stuff. Everything becomes really more interactive, and with your iPad or your telephone with an app, you can really have a better control of your house. So the light system, I mean, you know those things, the alarm, get the camera in your house and check all that, open the door of your garage when you're when you're arriving at your house and stuff like that. Okay, any other questions? Take advantage. I'm here for you. Come on. And there was the Andrea that asked about stamping technology. Okay, there is one thing you have to know. There is a certain type of steel material, okay? And there is another type of steel material. One is cheap, the other one is more expensive. The cheap one can be shaped in tooling that are huge tooling that are a little bit cheaper because the material, it's a material that is a cheaper material. Therefore, to get that form and stuff, it's easy. At the same time, the shapes cannot be too complicated. But when we use the technology with the expensive sheet metal that is a little bit thicker and has a different type of elasticity, okay, flexibility, and we are using more expensive tooling that are made to ensure a complicated form to be formed correctly without creating defaults, then in that case we have a more expensive technology, and of course we can get the shapes that we want unless we are making an undercut, okay? Which undercut, I'm sure you know, undercut means when your section, it's because of your sections, it's impossible to take the parts outside of the tooling, and therefore this is something that you discover before you go to tooling, of course, so you can make modifications. There is an engineering analysis of all your shapes, the things that you make on computer or you design, you sketch, that will enable you to make that mistake. All right, so the most important thing is to avoid every undercut, and the undercut is avoided also by the cut lines that you have on your car. The cut lines are placed in a way that every part, even if it looks very complex, will never be in undercut, so that when I stamp it and the stamping tooling opens up, I can take the part outside from the stamp, okay, to process it, painting and stuff, fixing on the car, on the structure, etc., etc. Okay, so Andrea, I really hope that I answered to your question. The best student you know, Luca, I don't know a best student. I'm sorry, a best student from who? Of who? What a level of... Thank you, Waldo. Gracias. Andrea, lessi che le nervature di golf e polo sono particolari e più costose da fare. Yes, because of that type of technology. Also because Volkswagen Group, like BMW and Mercedes, they use the technology that's a little bit more expensive, a different type of sheet metal, okay? But other companies use the other technology that, of course, it means that complicated shapes can be done if you separate parts, so that instead of having one part that is complicated with a section that is a kind of hardly worked, you need to cut, to separate in parts the big piece to make sure that you can make it. And therefore this can create quality problems, because instead of having only one part, you have 3-4 parts. Therefore you have lots of conjunction between pieces and parts, and when you increase that, you increase the risk of quality problems, because parts must match, don't have to be, like that. They must be perfect together. Can students find any job that is related to car design their summer breaks? Yes, Mahmoudi, this is called internship. It is the internship or stage, okay, experience that every design school has in its program. Therefore, when you become a car design student into a design school, what happens that after the first year, which is the first year, it's very important because you learn all the tools to sketch, to exercise your skills, exercise your creativity. You are really the beginning. But when you arrive to the second year or the third year, that time you can have the rights to search for internship, and therefore you can get you can get a contract for 4 months, 3 months, or 5 months, depending on the company and the school, because the school has, of course, approved this type of working relationship, and you can go and have your experience. I had an internship when I was in school. Andrea, quindi un designer deve pensare anche a questo aspetto quando immagina. Of course, yes, Andrea. In alcune nervature non possibile da fare con determinato brand. Andrea, we are saying the same thing. I already answered to that. Waldo, and talk about vintage cars, okay, especially the sports car from the 60s. Does the GT cars future or the SUV and the 4-door shooting brakes are taking their market? Ciao Mosam, ciao, welcome back. Waldo, to be honest, we are in a period where SUVs, crossovers are very trendy. I mean, let's not deny it. They are really trendy. This means that there is a market there, and we want to make money to be automobile industry, Therefore, marketing people, the super big boss of the company, the CEO, the president, they all must have the responsibility to find market niche for which we can make cars with a reasonable number, so that the company does go into a default, economical default. So in this period, to answer to your question, we are seeing a lot of this type of vehicle, lots of SUV, nice crossovers, even ex-station wagon or brakes that become more sporty wagons, bigger wheels, different type of positioning the car from the ground clearance, different type. So, maybe in 5 years or 10 years this will change, and we go back, because car design and design industry, it's also cycle. Sometimes we go a little bit back to what we did before, and we try to reinvent it, because the trends also is asking for that. What's your opinion on Ferrari making a SUV? Well, Syed, Ferrari with the team they have, so talented, for sure that SUV will be excellent. So I have no problem about that. Also Lamborghini is working on that. Mozam, nowadays many designers are thinking 3D printed models. Prototype, what do you think about it? Is it good or claim is much? Okay, let's say one thing on 3D printing, which is very, very important, so that you understand the difference between making a clay model, a real painted model, and something that is done in 3D printing. Before I tell you that, I would like to remind you that if you want my ebook, Sketching Card, for 7 years and not 14, it's enough to contact me on my email, and I will explain to you how to pay on my PayPal account the 7 years and get via email on PDF my Sketching Cards ebook full of tutorials starting from the basics. And the last thing I will tell you, that if you want to offer me a coffee, now it's the moment to hit that button and offer me a coffee. Thank you. And now I can go back and answer to Mozam's question. Okay, 3D printing and clay modeling, traditional modeling, hard foam model, racing modeling, painted models, real prototypes. When we make a model in clay, we can add, as I said many times, we can add the artistic value of our design expression, because the clay is done by hands with the tools, and if we know how to work a clay, we touch the surface, we can feel the impurity or something that we don't like, we can check the reflection, and if it's not satisfying, we take our tool and we can take off a little bit more of clay, or we can take hot clay, add some clay on the model, and then rework the surface. So it's a sort of loops back and forth until we find that good artistic quality, right? Okay, now you understand that in 3D printing we cannot do that. It's impossible, okay? Now let's come to 3D printing. 3D printing will take your Alias model, Rhinoceros model, I don't know which other software model, virtual model, changes the language in the software, and then it makes in scale your model. A car model with 3D printing, it is possible to do, but in small scale. And believe me, it is very fragile. If that model that will be made in one block before painting, it goes on the floor, it will crack. it will crack, like porcelain, like a dish that goes on the floor. It will crack. If you want to change, once you make it, you want to make a change, you cannot do it on that model 3D printing. You can't. Because you cannot touch it anymore. You cannot add material or take off material. Because if you take off material, you break it. If you add material, how do you do? It's plastic. Or maybe another type of material, but how can you do? And it's not flexible like clay, for which you add material and then you can work it. You can't. Therefore, 3D printing, it's a one-shot photo in 3D, in scale, of what you are doing. And you keep that protected so that nobody can break it. Now, if we talk about 3D printing full scale, really huge model, big model, this is not possible at my knowledge. It would be extremely heavy. Therefore, can you imagine what type of structure with wheels we should think in order to have a full-scale model done in 3D printing? Then what do? It's still something that is very fragile. Therefore, nobody can touch it. In a few words, what is the good idea in using a 3D printer to make a full scale? Then there's another thing I want to tell you. When we mill out a clay model in full scale, we have the milling machine, okay, that takes this big chunk of clay with the wheels and goes and gives the shape according to the program we put, all right? After, you can change that. But does not exist a 3D printer, that is huge like this room or twice this room. Does not exist. The 3D printers, they are small. The biggest one I saw visiting some people that make some compacts that use lots of 3D printing, it's like 1.5 meters for 1.5 meters. It's too small. Therefore, when somebody tells you, I use 3D printer to do my car design, he's talking only about small scale model that after cannot do anything. But in the professional world, that would be money that is thrown from the window. Because when we do that, we can use a technology that is less expensive. We can do scale models in white foam, ultra light, very, very cheap, very, very fast to mill, and we can just mill them out, not in 3D printing. Now, the question is, but then when is 3D printing really a value? For example, small parts in metal, or in carbon fiber, or in wood, or in a very hard plastic, but small pieces that we can make kind of quick. We put some paint, and then we put, for example, on the interior clay model, when we show the buttons, some elements, some rotors that have lots of little design things, you can do that in 3D printing. Then you spray paint, you put the graphics, and that's it. And once you fix that on the clay model of this interior center console, it looks like it's real. But there are small pieces, small parts, not huge parts. All right? I hope I answered to your question. Waldo, so as students we must look and design following the market, or we must fight against the idea the market, trying to use new ideas? Waldo, I think that we should do both things. We have to understand with benchmarking where this generation and the generation to come it's going. Okay, we have to understand the social changing behaviors. That's important. But at the same time, we must interpret those type of behaviors according to our creativity, to our philosophy, and to what we think it's right to do. And that's where we start. Then, once you do that, you get into the loop of presentations, feedbacks, and then you start optimizing that design, listening to the different voices in the room. Therefore, you start from your idea, and then little by little you mold that idea according a little bit to what other people say that make you think and take action to make sure that you can optimize your idea that is more cohesive, coherent with all the things we said before. All right? What are those little things in sketching that the master you love to see from students? Which details? But for me, look, there are two things that are very important. The first one, it's your ability in sketching, the skills. I mean, you have to sketch well. You cannot sketch bad. You cannot present to me a very bad perspective or wheels in perspective that are wrong. And there are still a lot of people that make those mistakes. So that's bad. For me, that's bad. Now, another thing is, for me, the creativity, the creative aspect. When you sketch your project in school, and you have a project, brief, like, I don't know, make the future, the future city car for the mobility of 2030, 2040, and you make something that is very close to what we do today or to concept cars that we already saw, then I question myself, I say, but is this guy or girl creative enough? Are them creative enough? Because that's important. Remember, if we have to hire you one day, we will do it because you have skills, good skills, and you are creative. Therefore, you have the two elements to put together to say that you are very passionate about car design. Because that's to be passionate about car design as a designer or as a car design student is to have good skills to express your creativity. Right? There. So Formula 1, Monza this weekend. MotoGP also, not bad. We have, of course, our Milan AC that will go back to play the game on Sunday. So there is a very nice program this weekend for passionate like me about engines and sports cars and racing, sports racing. All right, so thank you very much. 1, 2, 3, 4. I wish you a very good weekend. Ciao. Wow.